Get ready for University of Georgia basketball.
I waited here for you for so very long. I waited here for you so long. I waited here for you,
Alright guys, hello. It is June 5th, and every time we get this news with the SEC ACC challenge, it's very odd. It's never happened that late at night, but it was announced last night at 10:21 that the SEC and ACC challenge has been unveiled. ESPN released it very, very late last night, and men's and women's both got released. We'll look at the men's and we'll look at Georgia's women's, but then we'll look at the full women's slate later on. A common complaint I've seen about this is people are complaining that, again, people are complaining, number one, that Tennessee didn't get a good opponent. They're going to play Florida State. But the main thing is people are complaining that North Carolina and Duke are playing on the same day. Every year they've done it, that's the case. And, I understand that you should have your big brands. You could have, like, if you're the ACC, Duke, North Carolina, let one of them play on one day, then they play the other. Let North Carolina play on Tuesday, then Duke play on Wednesday. And a team like Georgia, obviously, we're going to play the first day, and we're going to get the late game because there's not a lot of people who want to see us play, but that's okay too. You saw the video last night. Georgia's going to face Boston College December 1st in the ACC-SEC Challenge, or SEC-ACC Challenge, whichever way you want to look at it. But I said we look at the other games today, and we are. So some very exciting games on this list. I think every time you have your two or three big-name schools in the conference play each other, that's a great idea. The only game I disagree with in this schedule was they could have done everything to get LSU and North Carolina State to play, but they did not. North Carolina State will play at South Carolina will go to North Carolina State, and LSU will play Wake Forest. So that did not happen, so we'll look at it right now. It's going to be the first day of the challenge will be Tuesday, December 1st. Auburn at Clemson, Duke at Florida, Texas at Louisville, Florida State at Tennessee, Wake Forest at LSU, Pitt at Missouri, South Carolina at NC State, Arkansas at North Carolina, Syracuse at Oklahoma, Ole Miss at Virginia Tech, Boston College at Georgia will be the late game. Well, it's presumably the late game because it's the last game listed for tonight, but times and stuff won't be announced till way later on. But so the first night, you got a bunch of heavy hitters. You got Clemson and Auburn, or Auburn and Clemson. Duke and Florida, of course, is going to be a great game. Texas at Louisville, Florida State at Tennessee. Then you get the rest of the games. Okay, well, Wake Forest at LSU, people are high on LSU, and I want LSU to do really good. I believe Will Wade can, but he hasn't coached a game there yet. So, it's been yet to be determined of exactly how that's going to go. Pitt at Missouri, that Dennis Gates is really good, and Pitt's really good too. That could be a sneaky game. South Carolina at NC State, that's going to be fun. Arkansas at North Carolina, that should be a really, really fun game. John Calipari going to North Carolina. Georgia also plays North Carolina this year. I cannot remember who their new coach is at the moment, but we'll get to Georgia's side of it in a minute. But Syracuse at Oklahoma, Ole Miss at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech won a crazy game versus South Carolina last year, so they're going to look to win 2 in a row. And then Boston College at Georgia, and the Dogs have not lost in this challenge yet. Georgia's 3-0. We beat Florida State twice and Notre Dame. So we get our second home game of the challenge as well. So we'll go through the rest of it, then we'll kind of speak more about Georgia's side of this in a minute. Wednesday, December 2nd, then will be the final night of the challenge. You'll have Georgia Tech at Mississippi State. It seems that those two have been paired a lot recently. Vanderbilt at Notre Dame, Alabama at Miami, Stanford at Texas A&M in the last game, Kentucky at Virginia. So you have a bunch of heavy hitters that first night. Then the second night, kind of a disappointment. The only great game I see maybe that second night is Alabama at Miami. And that's pretty much it. Kentucky at Virginia maybe, but the second night is definitely nothing considered to the first night. So, and then the women's side, Georgia is going to play at SMU in the women's side. And we'll look at the women's side. I will just go ahead and say it. The women's side is LSU at North Carolina, Louisville at Texas, Miami at Florida, Georgia at SMU, NC State at Ole Miss, Stanford at Auburn. Thursday, December 3rd, South Carolina at Duke, Notre Dame at Vanderbilt, Tennessee at Virginia Tech, Clemson at Kentucky, Oklahoma at Syracuse, Wake Forest at Arkansas, Missouri at Florida State, Texas A&M at California, Georgia Tech at Alabama, and Virginia at Mississippi State. So the overall consensus to this, in my opinion, is the men's side. The women's side got much better slate than the men's side. SMU was included in the women's side. I don't even see SMU listed on this. I don't see California listed on this either. California was included in the women's too. So if you remember last year during the offseason when we did a video of teams we would like to see Georgia go, I said Georgia go to California or SMU. But of course, Georgia being the home team this year. One year I would really love if Virginia Tech will be the home, with Virginia Tech and Georgia could play, but both those teams are being the home and road teams. Like when Georgia's road, Virginia Tech's also on the road. When Georgia's at home, Virginia Tech's also at home. So that can't happen. And I said it on the space a few days ago. I'm in all favor of bringing back the SEC Big East Challenge. I like the SEC ACC Challenge, but I would be good if they brought back something else. Don't necessarily have to be the Big Ten or the Big East. It could be the Big Ten. It could be the CUSA. There was the SEC CUSA Challenge there for a few years. I mean, it'd be fun. And the SEC ACC, obviously, though, the top teams, and that's what you're going to get when you do that. But for Georgia, I mean, this is your fourth ACC team on the schedule. We're going to play North Carolina, Duke, now Boston College, Georgia Tech, could possibly play UCF and or Cincinnati. None of those are ACC teams, but still worth the mention. This is going to be a very strong schedule for Georgia this year. It ain't even done. It's only a quarter through. You do have your small games like Florida Gulf Coast and West Georgia, but I mean, for the majority part of Georgia's schedule, this is going to be a heavy-hitting schedule. You're going to have North Carolina the first week of the year. You're going to have Duke and Madison Square Garden. You got to play Georgia Tech, which probably will be at some point announced here soon. You're going to have to play in the ESPN Invitationals. Not to mention, then you have to play a bunch of SEC teams. In the SEC, until somebody proves it wrong, the SEC is the best conference in the nation. So, I mean, you're going to have all kind of you're going to have a lot. You know what I mean? So, it's strong for Georgia because obviously, last year we played Florida State and got up by 40. That was something we've never really seen before at Georgia. But, and then again, I've reminisced of it when I talk about it the last few days. Obviously, Georgia, the first time they were in the challenge, the first year they did it, Georgia had to come back from Florida State and win off the Justin Hill buzzer beater, then beat Notre Dame at home in the red uniforms. Then last year was up by 40 at one point. I mean, Georgia is 3-0 in this event. There's a lot of teams that have lost a game. Georgia is one of the few that have not lost a game in this event yet. And you really think about how fortunate it is that Georgia has not lost one yet. I don't think that will happen this year. I think Georgia should beat Boston College by 30 points. Kind of just like Georgia did Florida State last year, but you never know. Obviously, there's a long way to go. And Boston College, I mean, I actually just read a story about Boston College about one of their coaches. They fired him after winning a bunch of games. They fired him. They haven't been to the tournament since. That was 16 years ago. 16 years ago to right now that they fired their coach and had not made the tournament since then. Boston College is a weird team because you never hear nothing about Boston College. During the ACC, they're always one of the lower tier teams. Now, I like Boston College, but will not like them come Tuesday, December 1st. So, again, there it is. Georgia and Boston College will play in the SEC ACC Challenge. Some of the other notable games: Clemson at Auburn at Clemson, Duke at Florida, Florida State at Tennessee, Arkansas at North Carolina, and then the second day, Alabama at Miami and Kentucky at Virginia. Those are just some of the notable games in the SEC ACC Challenge. It says on the ACC network, coverage details will be announced later, including game times, and will be announced at a later date. Yeah, so go Dogs, and there's the SEC ACC Challenge.
Dogs do the improbable, the unthinkable, the unbelievable. They beat Arkansas and go wire to win the SEC tournament.